What is up, everybody? It's the Inhuman one here with part 1 of the Lords of the Fallen playthrough. Now, I will admit and confess that I did play a bit on a separate file just to kind of get a feel of it. And, initially at first I was a little torn, but now I am definitely understanding the multiple systems and mechanics it's trying to implement, and I have a really good appreciation for the game, and I hope that by the end of this first part of the stream, you guys will too. This will be a playthrough, not necessarily a 100% walkthrough, which I will possibly feature in the future, but it will be a playthrough where we get probably 85 to 90% of the items, and of course the best ending. This is call it the good ending for the sake of. So we're going to do everything we can to do that. As you all know, I'm incredibly thorough in my playthroughs, I should say, and I'll show you exactly what my thought processes are and how I'm getting everything and kind of the way I search. This game is incredibly sprawling with all of the areas, and again, it's got a lot that it's trying to achieve. It's a very ambitious game, and I do enjoy and appreciate it for that reason. So what we're going to do is we're going to start a brand new game. And just for the sake of ease for myself, I think I'm going to go ahead and start with the same class I did on my my off-stream playthrough. Ages pass, distorting self-delusion into faith, with few obtaining the revelations they so desperately seek. In a conflict between the divine, are mortals mere pawns? Thinking, whether the flesh of gods or death itself, all will be consumed. For she must feed. So I'm curious, because it's been about, probably, 8 or 9 years since I've played the original. I don't remember the lore very much, but it does make me want to revisit. But let's watch this cutscene. Here we have a Dark Crusader that is being pursued by an enemy that is incredibly powerful.
Boris, forgive me. I'd steer this weapon of deliverance to a worthier servant than I.
So he's pretty much saying, yep, I'm dead. Let's hope that somebody else can take up the reign of the lamp bearer. Gotcha.
You never possessed the metal for this, Crusader. You failed.
Oh! That's not very nice. But yeah, that guy's pretty cool. We see him soon, I should say. Hint, hint, wink, wink for all my Souls-likes fans out there. You know what to expect. There's always an obligatory, how do we say this? Death. So just so you know, I did actually pre-order the game like at 11:58 before the 13th. So I did get the Dark Crusader class. This is a class that is unlockable in the normal playthrough of the game, but it is one of 4 unlockable classes. There's a total, I believe, of 13 classes, 9 of which, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, carry the 2, 9. Yeah, so there's 1, 2, yeah, so there's like 10 classes that you normally would have, or 9, I believe, and then 4 you can unlock. How come I can't count? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, okay, good. I'm good. I am just, it's late where I'm at. Okay, so anyway, so I did like the Dark Crusader. It's an excellent class. You have good starting equipment for one, and then also the weapon is really good. I think the stats are nice. I mean, so looking at a few things, we're going to go over as much as I've learned, and I've played for probably about, let's say, maybe 3 hours total over like the course of, I don't know, it's been like sporadic little moments, but I want to explain everything that I've learned because there's a lot of systems at play here. So the Dark Crusader is pretty solid. I mean, he's got a lot of, definitely a lot of strength and vitality, which is going to be key for just staying on the offensive. You do have a pretty large weapon as well, and really the only, I'd say the only sorcery type or magic type would be Radiance that you're going to be leaning towards. So again, really good build. I'm probably going to go with this one. I just wanted to show you some of the others. You have the Hallowed Knight as well. This one's kind of just like, I would imagine I would have played as this, kind of like another type of strength build. It's just not as balanced as the Dark Crusader, I would say. You just start off with a shield, though, as well, so that's pretty neat. We have the Udiranger Warwolf. And this, it's funny, because it looks a lot like the, what's his name, Harkness or Harkin from the first game, but it's not. I mean, totally not him, but anyways, these guys are kind of Berserker class. They have a bunch of strength. We have the Partisan, which is, again, another melee guy. This one's way more well-rounded, though, in terms of the stats. They're just really balanced nicely. So if you just want to go and you're not sure what route you want to take, this is probably a really good starter build. For the more instead infantry, again, it's another one, but instead of strength, you're kind of favoring your dexterity builds with the 14 agility, so not bad. But also, you do have, you know, a little bit less defense. You're gonna have a less vitality, and your armor does seem like it's a lighter or medium armor, so it's probably not gonna have as much. But you probably have really good movement. The Blackfeather Ranger, if I'm being honest, was the first build that I was gonna be playing as. I really did want to play this build. It's kind of like a Bloodborne-inspired agility build. But you have bows and things like that, and I was just really wanting to explore this. I do believe on possibly my 100% playthrough or 100% walkthrough, I'll do a playthrough as the Blackfeather Ranger. And just keep in mind, just like in all Souls games, you can obtain all the starter armor for all the classes regardless of which one you pick. And a lot of them I actually know the location for based on my first few sections of the game, so it's not too bad. I've gotten as far as defeating the very first I guess we'll call him Sentinel, or first beacon. So I've gotten that far, and I stopped immediately after that. I was like, okay, I got a good hang of it. I love it. Let me just go ahead and share this with you guys. So from now on, it's going to be just playing through, and everything you see after that section will be the first time I've seen it. So this is the Exiled Stalker. These last four are actually called advanced classes because they're highly specialized. So this one in particular is gonna be a dual wielding class. And this is something we'll talk about a little bit. Dual wielding is excellent for, you have dual wielding for light weapons and dual wielding for heavy weapons. They both have their distinct move sets. Dual wielding for light weapons is excellent for afflicting statuses like fire and burn and whatever else, ignite and whatever ones you have in this game. So really good. So that's what I'd call like the game calls an advanced class, and it's an agility class. So really cool. You have the second advanced class is the Orion Preacher. They pronounce it kind of funny. So Orion instead of Orion, but it's Orion Preacher. This guy is like 100% radiant. So if you want to be casting spells and things like that, this is definitely a great build. Also a good one if you want to go with a boss weapon you can obtain early in the game. The Pyrrhic Cultist is essentially the same as the Orion Preacher, but except instead of being on the side of Radiance, this one's on the side of, Adir, which is the evil entity that's being restored or resurrected or whatever. So instead of Radiance being the specialty, Inferno is the specialty there. And then Condemned is kind of like your all-around, perfectly balanced build. Really cool looking armor. And pretty much this one's just, it says pick at your own risk. So it's just a completely balanced type. You can pretty much do whatever you want with it. I don't really see too much of a problem. I mean, you do have like a bucket that you're using as a weapon, so that's probably going to suck. But aside from that, I would love to do a challenge run just with starter gear on this guy throughout the game. It'd be fantastic, I think. But anyways, we are going back up to the Dark Crusader. And this is what the build we're going to be going with for now. We'll jump through the character creation. Oh gosh, he's ugly. Okay, so we're gonna. I don't want to. What? Now I will say this: like, you have to, after you select your heads, like whichever one you move towards is kind of the one you're gonna be selecting. I guess is to say, like, so you're gonna be more like head A than head B, depending on the number. So it's just weird. It's fine. So anyways, whoops. Wait, hold on there, buddy. I did not mean to go all the way back. Okay, there's my head. Alright, skin color. I am a little bit darker than that pasty fellow. Let's see, let's get a nice brown. That's a little too brown. The colors don't necessarily match with what you see, like 9, 11 would be like a bright. It's like pretty dark though. That's a little too crispy. Let's see. Let's bring down the brightness a little bit. Okay, it's about me. Okay, and now we can go over here. For the hair, they had some terrible choices, as most Souls games do. So I just kind of went with the standard, like slick back style, because these are some nasty hairstyles. I don't know why they do that, but they do. He has like bald spots. Like, see, like what is going on here? But I selected this one because I'm assuming that I'm gonna have a helmet on the whole time, which we do. All right, black hair, facial hair. I don't mind that beard. I'm bearded up as well. You guys have seen me. That's fine for now. Let's see. Let's go with like, can we get a fuller beard? Ooh. There you go. Face texture. I want to be young, because I am young. We'll go for like, let's see, what color eyes? Nice and dark. How about something cool? Yeah, no, I don't. The hue is weird, like on this. We'll just go with black. Okay, I don't want like scars and stuff, so we can get rid of some of that stuff. The eyes are fine. Nose is fine. Ears, you can't even see them. Mouth is fine. Cheekbones fine. All right. The thing is, it's so weird, like once you've selected your character or whatever, like once you're done, it's weird because I'm pressing X, right? So it's like, okay, I'm good, or R1, L1, and it's still like, yo, you're here, buddy. So you have to press circle a few times to get out. It's weird. But anyways, I don't want tattoos or anything, so I'm gonna remove those. And what is this junk? I don't want any of these marks. Remember, Harkin had all of his crimes like listed on his face, like tattooed on his face. Pretty rough. Tattoos, we don't want any. Okay, good. So make sure that you do press circle to go back a bit. You do actually have to go back before you can go forward, so it's kind of annoying. We're gonna look just like me, so I'm incredibly muscular. Just like in real life. Yeah, can we be a little... He's a little peachy. Yeah, that's fine. 13's good. Tattoos, no tats for me. And again, you can go crazy with the customization. I don't like to make my characters look stupid. I like to make them kind of look like me in a fantasy world. I imagine I'd be ripped if I was killing dragons and stuff. Sweet. Okay. We're good. I'm happy with it. We're the Dark Crusader. And we are going to play. I'm not going to change my name. I'm just going to leave it as is. Oh, you have to enter a character name. Oh, goody. Inhuman. 1. Alright, here goes. We are the Inhuman one. And we will be playing now. The intro, before you even press start, was pretty cool. It gives you some backstory, but the game does well to tell a story of what's going on, you know, so we essentially are the subsequent lamp bearer of that dude that got decapitated by the four-armed guy.
Lo, the latest receiver of his grace. Great potential dwells within you, doubtless, for you to be chosen thusly. And so does Aureus' wisdom guide my hand in the bestowment of this subsequent boon.
Bright lights.
Your flesh has been made sacrosanct with the mark of the Dark Crusaders. Prove yourself worthy of this gift. Seek me in the bowels of the bridge. Our work is of the greatest import.
The bridge is the hub area It's pretty much like Skyrest Bridge, and we'll be making it there after the first major boss. And that's where we'll be ending this stream. Once we reach the hub world, I'll show you kind of the lay of the land, and then we'll end this stream and we'll continue on to the very next part. But if we enjoyed the game enough, I do think a 100% guide or walkthrough is certainly in the, on the schedule. Alright, so because we, pre-ordered the game, we get some exclusive tinks and all that stuff, and some different stones. So first things first, right, let's just go through things like mobility and all that. So you have your dodge roll. You can move around pretty loosely. I mean, it's pretty loose, so if you change directions, you do have a little pause. So just be mindful of that. If you're walking on narrow, like beams and all that, which is pretty often in this game, just be careful. So you have your light attack. You have your heavy attack as well, which you can actually charge. So you can charge your heavy attack. And then another thing that's pretty unique is you can just tap triangle. I'm playing on the PlayStation, so triangle. And you can now dual wield your weapon, right? Not dual wield, but actually wield it in both hands, I would say. So now you have a different move set. And I do like this. The moveset's pretty awesome. You can get a bunch of hits in, like a 6 or 7 hit combo. And then you can always do the same thing with the R2 attacks, which of course you can charge, even in the two-handed stance. Now, one thing that's unique about this game is you can start off with, two-handed, switch to one-handed, so that just further increases your combo. So you can get some pretty nice combos in based on your moves and how you want to be chaining together combos with one or two-handed attacks. On the left, if you press left or right, you can kind of cycle between these items here. The Sanguinarix is your health, so that's like your Estus Flask. It is renewable, so don't worry about it. These right here are just for Vigor, which is your currency. It's in the top right. Right now we have 0. You see the multiplier times 1. That just means that once you're in certain conditions, which we'll talk about, Umbral, you can actually get a multiplier, so you get more Vigor. And Mana Stone Clusters, if you have magic or using sorceries, that will replenish your magic. And then this slowly repairs your health over time. So what I like to do is I like to clear those items out, so you just press the options button and you can press square to unequip all these. Anytime you get a new item, it will automatically go to your quick access. So if you don't want to accidentally cycle through and click something you just picked up, make sure you do a regular check of your inventory every time you go, and maybe do a bit of exploring, because if you pick up a brand new item you haven't seen before, it's going to go straight to your quick access bar. Just so you get a better idea of what to look at here, this is our weapon. You do have your main weapon. You can hold a weapon in your left hand as well. And then this is your throwing hand, which is your right hand. When you have your throwing hand equipped, if I had like a crossbow, for example, I could equip that. But if you have your throwing hand equipped, you can select between different types of throwables. So this one, for example, is going to be our Radiant Burst Parchment, and it does holy damage, so 115 holy damage. And if you see right under the ammo cost, which says 3, you see strength, agility, and then it has a little red blood mark and it has 100. There's a different status effects like smite, burn, ignite, your poison, frost, and things like that. We'll go over those in a little bit. But anyways, you can equip a bunch of different throwables, up to 3. So if I had different types, like say for example I had like an axe or a javelin, I could equip that in square slot, and then triangle slot could also have a separate one. So I'll go over how to use those in a moment. So if you are trying to use a throwable, you can press up on the D-pad, you hold L2, and then you could press R1 to throw it if you're locked on, or R2 if you just want to manual aim, right? So R1 would be like just throw it, and you could lock onto an enemy, or you could do R2. Which is how you throw it, manually. Now, you see that the X down there is for the Radiant Parchment Burst. If I had 2 other items, I could cycle between X and square and triangle. So if you look at the top left, you see there's the red, which is my health bar, green, which is my stamina, and then you see it's actually the ammunition bar. Ammunition is replenishable. You don't have like to purchase individual bolts or parchments or things like that to throw, axes, javelins. They do replenish every time you rest at a vestige, which is your resting point. But the yellow amount there, that shows you how much ammo it costs. So if I throw this right now, it's going to cost 3. As you can see, there's 3 yellow bars, right? So just a good idea, just kind of get a good idea of how that works, right? Just so you know, if you press down, you go to your umbral lamp. The umbral lamp has a lot of uses. The first of which shows you, if you hold L2, it shows you a glimpse of what's in umbral. So say, for example, I'm in a pool of water and the water is a little high and it's making me move slow. If I have this out and I hold it, I'm now traversing on dry land. Same thing goes for if you're crossing a bridge that wasn't there, it's only a present in umbral. You can just hold on to L2 and make that work. If you hold R1, it's kind of like the suck. You suck in souls that are nearby. There's even little parasite type enemies you can suck that protect enemies, and it helps remove their invulnerability by holding L2 to have the umbral lamp out and then holding R1 to suck. If you hold L2 and then you press R2, that's the soul flay. You can use that on environmental items that you can lock onto so that you can actually pull things towards you. You can interact with things in umbral. Or you can use it on an enemy to pull their soul out and deal a bunch of types of damage, which we'll be going over. You see that there's another option. There's square. If you hold L2 and you hold square, you actually transition from Axiom, which is this world that we're in, to the umbral realm, which is this realm that we're looking at. You can actually traverse into that realm, and by doing that, you just hold L2 and hold square, and you can go freely into umbral. The problem is you can't freely exit umbral, so you got to be careful with that. The last function is going to be L2 and triangle, which if you have a vestige seed, remember that the vestiges are just the save points. You can actually plant a temporary save point and a flower bed, and you can tell if there's a flower bed eligible by the lantern icon in the bottom right will start glowing. Your actual lantern will start glowing as well, and you can actually see a little visible flower bed, and if you have a vestige seed, you can plant it, and that's a temporary save point that you can use, and it will only be replaced if you plant another one. So you can kind of plant one freely, but if you plant a second one, the first one will go away and the second seed will replace the first. So you can always have your vestige save points plus your seeds that you kind of create. Anyways, let's jump into some combat and have some fun. I just wanted to cover some of those topics. There's so much going on in this game, and I absolutely love it. As you could tell, the damage numbers are red, which means it's good. You want to see red damage. That means, like, in particular, that we're dealing a type of damage that's going to hurt the enemy. White damage means they're not really, it's kind of neutral, and then gray means they're resistant. So see here, we're kind of in a pool of water really deep. Well, if I wanted to move a little bit faster, because you have to walk while you're holding your lamp, you can just go through here, grab it. Now we've got the Enervated Vigor Skull. Remember, rolling is crazy in this game. You have your different weights. So if you look at the bottom left, under Quick Access Items, it shows Encumbrance. And the encumbrance there is medium. So medium, you can roll around like crazy, even with medium. So large definitely is a fat roll, a lot less distance covered. And then light, you're flying across the map. So be careful, because it does get kind of crazy. But you only have 3 weights, light, medium, heavy. So, all right, let's go ahead and take these guys out. You can lock on. There's a pretty cool feature I'm going to talk to you guys about. It's called, what is it called? I guess the best way to put it is just your parry system. So when you're parrying, if you see that I locked on, there's like a half moon right now towards the lock on circle. That outer ring actually is his poise bar. So if we if we continued to, like, for example, kick the enemy, we would remove more and more poise. And once we remove enough poise, you can do a critical attack once you see the red icon. So that's really neat. With those enemies, it's pretty hard to parry because they attack really slowly, and it just takes a lot of time to farm their attacks. But if you kick by pressing L1 and R1 at the same time, that is how you're going to, you can trigger some poise or posture damage. The posture damage is going to, once it's racked up, will of course allow the enemies to get stunned, and then you can do a grievous attack, which is essentially a critical. Heavy attacks are also really good. Charged heavy attacks are great, especially if you hit an enemy in the back. Then you can really reduce their posture damage, so it's really awesome. So here we have a little bramble patch we can just break through. If you're not sure, always check to see if your umbral lamp will remove it, And you have a lot of platforming in this game. I don't know why, but you do. They're going to want you to sprint and jump across. I'll show you how to do that, but drop down here first. You won't take any fall damage, but you will get the Forsworn Tinct. Tinks are just ways to customize your character's color palette, so you can fashion souls it up as much as you want. You can essentially change any piece of your armor. So, for example, you have 4 pieces of armor at any given time: helms, the actual body armor, gauntlets, and leggings. And if you go over to R1 enough, you can actually select the tink and then select the piece you want to apply it to. So it's kind of neat. I do like that quite a bit. I'm trying to see if there's anything else I should cover, because right now you guys, your heads are probably spinning, so I apologize, but I think it's important. If you want to sprint and jump, you hold down L3 and then press X to jump. It's tough to get the timing right, though. Right, for example, but no. So it's tough to get the timing right, and there's going to be a lot of instances you have to jump where you will probably die. So it's very likely that. But remember, it's L3 to run, and then when you're running, you can press X for a little jump. You don't move up very much at all, but you do move, quite a distance horizontally. So, all right. So we got the projectile thrower here. You have iframes and all that. I will go ahead and give my first grievance. The wizards and mages and whatever else in this game, the projectile users, they are able to snipe you from across the map even before you can actually aggro them. So there's going to be a very frustrating sequence that is all about, avoiding dying from gravity and then getting hit from projectiles that you can't even see. And that's certainly one of my grievances about this game. The enemies aggro for far too long and from too far of a distance. But, it happens. So this is an example. I want to show you the throwable items. So here we have our throwable. We're going to go ahead and lock on. We pressed R1. The trajectory and stuff is really unrealistic. The physics are just so off, in my opinion. But hey, it is what it is, right? They are usually pretty powerful against certain types of enemies. So just understand the enemy's weakness, and then you'll be able to, of course, apply them. One thing I didn't do, which was kind of silly, is I didn't save a projectile. So what you can do is, depending on what you have in your inventory, I don't have one. There's little pouches you can carry. They're called, projectile patch, something like that. And it can replenish your ammunition if you need it. So anyways, I'm unable to do that right now because I'm a fool. But usually you can try things like this. If you're unable to for whatever reason, sometimes you can do a soul flay on it. And if that doesn't work, that's fine. So you see my umbral lamp is going kind of crazy. And right now it's like, well, there's not really a lot you can do, right? This is blocked off. And if you saw that skeleton, you're probably like, well, what does that do? Well, what you can do is you can actually enter this realm. And I'm going to show you exactly what it does. But you can enter the umbral realm, and I'll show you how cool that is in just a moment. But anyways, we got to remember to get that. Now, how silly, right? We forgot one. I was trying to show you guys, and I didn't get one of the first items. So save some of those. So it says an umbral entity blocks your path. Check this out. This thing is so obnoxious. It's so loud, and you do have ways to deactivate them. Based on the number of coils they have, you can usually follow them and see. So there's one coil that goes over there, and then one blue coil or tendril that goes over here. So there's going to be more than one pathway that we need to destroy. That means there's probably 2 things that we're going to need to unlock. So anyways, pretty neat. Okay, so normally, right, you say I'm blocked. I can't go through this gate. I can't break through. What do? Well, always hold up your umbral lamp, One thing that I would advise is that in later areas, once you have your lamp up, you got to be very careful, because enemies in umbral, they can attack you from their realm. So from umbral, they can attack you. And so you got to be careful, because if you get hit from an enemy in umbral while you're in Axiom, you will be transported to umbral unwillingly. So it'll be, you'll be sucked into that world. And if you're not ready, you can be in for a world of hurt, because it's not easy to leave umbral. It's very easy to enter it, but the only ways to leave it are by resting at a vestige, or by those little skull items that were over there in the beginning area that I pointed out. So that skull right there, you interact with them and you can, go back to your world. So it's pretty neat. But again, a lot of systems and mechanics kind of overlapping. So I certainly encourage you to experiment with them all and give it a chance, Okay, so nothing under here, right? So, uh-oh, see, we fell. We're stuck. What do we do? You can actually enter Umbral, and I'm going to show you exactly how. You hold L2, and you hold square, and now we're in Umbral. So now we don't have to really traverse back. We don't have to hold the lamp up. We can just freely move around. Really nice. So here we have the Wither Ward, I mean. Alright, good stuff. So we're just going to keep working our way down and just be careful. We will circle back to the area in the beginning with that one projectile, that skeleton hanging upside down. We can throw something at him later. So this is a good opportunity to show you guys how to use Soul Flay. So if you lock onto an enemy, you hold L2 and then R2, you can pull the soul out of the enemy. And if you hit it, the enemy's life bar is going to turn white. That's called wither damage. As soon as you tap them once, that wither damage, anything that's white, will immediately disappear. So as you can tell, we're in Umbral, and upon entering Umbral, you too will have wither damage to your health. So the only way to retrieve it is either by pumping in healths, which, you know, more heals, which kind of sucks, or you can attack an enemy. By attacking an enemy, you can regain your Umbral. So I suggest you do that. If not, if we get hit one time, half of our health bar is going away. And heals are much less effective in Umbral. Another thing you can do that a lot of people don't know about is that you can actually use these little pustules here to regain your Soul Flay ability, which is the little ball underneath our ammunition gauge. And also, say for example, you were just missing actual health. It wasn't withered. It wasn't white. You just were missing health. It's just a black space. You can actually replenish it by sucking on those pustules. So, I know it sounds disgusting, but it works. Matter of fact, I might show you guys. So I'm going to show you how to replenish wither damage. So here you go. 1 hit, 2 hits. That's good, right? Now, I'm going to get hit by something so I can show you guys. But there's not really any enemies over here. Okay, here's a bro. Let me kill this bro. And then let me get hit. Come on. Okay. And then I'll go ahead and kill him. See, I'm not replenishing any health because I actually took real damage. And then, the lesser known secret, you just suck on these things, and now I got some wither back, right? So I got withered health back. So you can just, you know, sap these pustules, and you'll be able to get some of that back now if you attack an enemy. So here, this is kind of an example of when you're going to use Soul Flay. You use it quite a bit for environmental objects. Saintly Quintessence is an item that you use to increase your heal. So the number of times you can heal will increase the more Saintly Quintessence you apply. So it's pretty nice. You'll get up to 4 or 5 pretty quickly as long as you, you explore Umbral pretty freely. You do have plunge attacks, so you can like lock onto an enemy and come down here. These little enemies here, these like are the mobs that are gonna completely invade you. One mechanic that we haven't seen yet is the fact that when you're in Umbral, the bottom, oh actually the top right, you see the Vigor, which is 1400, right? 1447. Below that is an eyeball that would be open if we weren't in the tutorial area, and that eyeball pretty much will continue to open, and there's a blue line around it. When the blue line goes from counterclockwise and it's completely a full ring, the eye will turn red. You can no longer heal, and you'll be pursued by a very strong enemy that can kill you really quickly. The longer you're in Umbral, the more mobs are going to spawn, and the tougher enemies are going to spawn. So over time, as you can see, the eye has now opened, and now that we're in Umbral, you're going to start seeing a blue line, a ring kind of form around the eyeball. And as more and more of it kind of awakens, so to speak, you're going to see more and more difficult enemies. You're going to see all kinds of terrible stuff. So it gets really bad. And that was another kind of minor grievance of mine. There are a lot of instances where you have to, run past enemies because you're in an area that you can't explore. And when you're in an Umbral, you're stuck in Umbral. So you're constantly being pursued. So you can't really review items. You can't do things like that you normally could. So if you grab a bunch of things, you might have to go back in your inventory, and guess what? There's nothing that indicates a brand new item once you obtain it. So there's little things like that would have been nice for quality of life. But as you can tell, the ring, it's a white ring, is now forming around. It's becoming more solid, and that is saying, hey, as you stay in this realm, more enemies are going to come attack you, and stronger enemies are going to come. So right here, obviously this is one of the coils that's blocking everything off, right? We can't do anything there, so what do? Can look around here. This is going to be one of the 2 souls we can free, so to speak. And when you do that, you pretty much unlock the entity that's there. So it just had 1 coil that time, which is fine. That's the door that was locked that we saw that first entity. The umbral entity, like that, is always going to be surrounded by little areas you can go and find those souls you can free. So here's a great way to return back. So, if you're ever in a bind, you can use these. I would urge that you understand the importance of them, though, because once you use them one time, unless you rested a vestige, you can't go back and use it again. So it does not respawn unless you go rest at a vestige. All right, so here we go. Now we've cleared this path. We're back in Axiom. You can tell because there's no more eye or anything like that, and also because the color scheme is a little bit more inviting. It's a warmer palette. We're right back where we started, right? So nothing there. We still don't have our freaking anything to use for ammo, so I can't believe. But it's like, did we miss that item? We might have. And it's just because I was being so darn thorough. But we can always go back. The abandoned red cops is like the very first area, and all we're going to do is this right here. This is our very first save point, which they call vestiges. They're all named after like legendary lamp bearers. So we get the desiccated vestige moth, which is essentially a way for us to return back to the last vestige, but you lose all vigor, which is your currency. So be very careful when you're doing that. We can upgrade our character, and I would say go straight to strength. Pump in some strength. Well, actually, we can't. We can't do it yet. Top left shows that we're just shy a few points. Also, whenever your vigor is a dark blue, I couldn't tell because I'm a little colorblind, but when it's dark blue, that's whenever you can actually level up. So right now we're unable to. So what we're going to do is rest. When we rest, enemies come back, things like that, but everything replenishes as well. Our heals, our ammo counter, all that good stuff. So what we can do, we can start throwing stuff. We'll go get this item. Oh gosh. There it is. We'll run through here. We'll kill this bro again. Why not? Why not? Red damage is always good. You want to see the red damage. Hey friend. You missed me. Remember, stunning the enemies is going to be just critical. It works even on bosses too, so you definitely want to do it as much as you can. The bosses don't seem to have a lot of poise, so we got the wooden cross. We can take a look at what these items are as well. So you go to your inventory and just take a look. I mean, there's so much different stuff. This is just a cross made of wood, not designed as a weapon, but still capable of serving as one. So it doesn't have terrible physical damage, actually. And if you can tell on the right, it shows you the requirements. It's a strength and agility weapon, so we certainly have enough for that. Anyways, pretty cool. Now that we've got it, you see that purple flame in my vigor bar? That means I can level up. Also, when you go rest at the vestige, you can upgrade your character. So we're going to go strength. I strongly suggest pumping in as much strength as possible. We want to deal as much damage as we can. Vitality will also be a secondary stat that we're going to be pumping up as well for survivability. Weird thing about the maps and stuff, I'm going to go ahead and point it out now. When you go to your journal, this is the map. So it's a typical map of any kind of Souls-like map. It doesn't exist, right? But anyways, when you get maps of individual areas, they're going to just show kind of certain points of reference that you want to look at. And they sometimes give hints, but they are pretty difficult to decipher. And also, The areas are just so... You don't really have a time to pause because you're constantly being pursued, especially if you're an Umbral. So it's hard to just kind of slow down and take the moment to look. So you will be able to cycle through more than one page of the maps of Mornstead, and you can see individual areas that they kind of highlight, points of reference they want you to either avoid or go towards, and you can find certain secrets, but we're going to be thorough enough to actually find most of the secrets, so it'll be fine. One other thing I just wanted to mention is on the top left, you see like the number 68. That just means how much vigor I have. But below that, you see a severed hand. Severed hands you can obtain, or just currency, and you get them from PvP. So if you invade and you win, you'll get a severed hand. Those eyeballs you can get from avenging a online player's death, and you can use those at a certain shrine. I think pilfered coins are something you can also use. It's if you assist someone in co-op and you defeat a boss, and you get the little shrimpy guys. I forget, they're called like Scourge or something to that effect. And those are incredibly important because there's a finite amount of them. You can mostly only get them, you can get like 200 or so in the actual playthrough of the game, but you require much more. And the reason why they're so important is because that's how you unlock your boss weapons. So they can be obtained by farming the enemies in Umbral, and also by online play. So it's kind of tough. You know, right now the farm isn't optimal for those, but there still is a few options available, or still are a few options available. All right, so here we go. This is our first little tutorial. The Holy Bulwark Auto. Let's see if we can parry. Parrying's got some pretty friendly windows in this game, so see if we can actually not get hit. Okay, or not. Oh, grab, love it. I'm trying to show these guys how to parry, bro. He's doing his thing. I really want to parry you, though. The parry windows are usually pretty friendly. I'm just totally whiffing here, that's all. Come on, buddy. No. It's only because I'm recording, that's all. Now I'm getting some bleed damage. You gotta love that. There you go. But yeah, it's pretty friendly, actually. If you hold L1 and R2, that is a separate attack you can do. It's kind of like your room clear. Pretty fun attack, but I'll show you more about that later. What a jerk. I was just trying to show you guys. And the reason why I didn't care much about my health is because, you know, we got our obligatory death here. And I'm going to be honest, I don't even know how to hit the guy. Other than using our ranged, I have no clue how to attack this guy. That's the guy from the intro, though. He killed our predecessor, I guess. He wants the lamp, of course. And we're going to say no. I don't wanna. Oh! The roar did that, so yeah, that's kind of gives you an idea of what to expect. He's just flying around. That's fun. That's good. A little bit of fire. It's hard to even stay locked onto him because he teleports every 5 seconds. Oh, that was close. Lovely. Lovely. A lot of enemies have like some crazy mobility in this game, so you're going to have to just get used to it. Love it. I used all my projectiles. That's good. Come on, come down. Get those sweet, sweet iframes. Doing all that damage. Just kidding. Oh my goodness. Come here, buddy. And we died. I will tell you that I did better that time. I actually hit him. Once you die, you get a second chance in Umbral. So here's our second chance. Ow. Yeah, we're dead. The Light Reaper. This guy's no fun. Anytime you die in Axiom, you will get a second chance in Umbral. So it's really cool. So that was really abrupt, and you don't really know what happens. I didn't skip it or anything. It's just, there's just a weird way to do that scene. I don't know why they did that, but that enemy, or the enemy that defeated us, you're going to see him. I'm assuming he's important. I haven't seen him since this instance, but the person or the NPC that had the left skeleton hand or bone hand and the black armor, we will see that person again. But it's just really strange. You know, some of the cutscenes and stuff are really janky. I don't quite understand them. Anyways, like in most games, you can recover your vigor. Not that we had much. Enemies can actually recover it before you do. And if they do, you have to defeat them to obtain it. So just keep that in mind. But anyway, so here we go. We have our umbral lamp here. And again, we just faced off with the Light Reaper. He's an absolute jerk. And this is kind of the first area. So first thing we want to do is just kind of explore. There's some enemies to the left and items, but we want to go to the right because this entire game is full of sprawling and spiraling paths, and it gets really difficult. So the 100% walkthrough, I'm certainly dreading it only because I'd like to be as clean as possible, but the possibility of me accomplishing that is going to be pretty tough. It's going to be pretty tough. So here we have a big door. We can't actually open it or go through. So even if we were to, you know, go to the umbral realm, we'd be blocked off. So no bridge or anything to get to that item. But we got the flayed skin, which is more of like a, I guess it's like a item you can just read about. So it's a piece of skin taken from Samuel, a former Dark Crusader, executed for dereliction of duty, and brother of Paladin Isaac. Paladin Isaac is actually the name of the sword we're using, by the way. So they got some pretty cool lore. It says the day Isaac was elevated to the rank of Paladin was the proudest day of his life, and he solemnly vowed to Aureus that he would carry out whatever holy work was demanded of him with purity, obedience, and resolve. Just so that you know, we have the Umbral Lamp, which is created by Molhu. We'll actually meet him. The Saintly Quintessence is the item that can increase our heals, number of heals anyways. This is a rosary we were given. I don't quite know what it does yet, but it's more so just like a quest type item. It's a rosary given to you by Exactor Dunmire. That was the gentleman with the hat that looks like Kung Lao. An elite military order in service to the Church of Orion Radiance. The Dark Crusaders spread the teachings of the Church and the Radiant God Aureus. A small inscription on the back of the rosary reads, "Cleanse the 5 beacons." And then we have the journal. We picked this up just a few moments ago. A weathered journal, a number of its pages missing. This journal belonged to Tacitus, a fearless explorer and cartographer who had traveled across the Oathlands and far beyond, eventually venturing into Mornstead only to seemingly never emerge from the kingdom. And then we got the map, which didn't do anything for us. So good stuff. I mean, you got a little bit of everything going on here. So we're going to circle back this way. I just wanted to make sure you guys that I am going to do something as thorough as a playthrough as possible, reading the items and all that. When we're in Umbral running around being chased by mobs, I might have to pause for a bit. So here, this enemy is covered by a parasite. What you do is you hold up your lamp, and if you're locked onto him and you're close enough, you hold R1, and you'll kill that parasite. He's no longer invulnerable. If you don't do that, he will literally be invulnerable, and you can't deal any damage to him whatsoever. So just be mindful of that. If you see this bro right over here, that's the guy that actually scared off the Light Reaper. So here we have, obviously, a path that can be unveiled in Umbral. And we'll be looking at that here in a moment. But first, we got stuff to read. I want to show you the map thing. So a map of abandoned recop. So here it's showing you like, hey, there's a big tree. And then it's like, hey, there's a windmill. Go from the big tree to the windmill. If you look at the bottom left, it's saying, don't go to that door that's sealed. Instead, go to the cathedral-looking thing. That cathedral's the hub. But then it says, oh, there's a red angel-looking thing there, so be careful. So unless you speak Lords of the Fallenese, it's pretty hard. It's only clear in retrospect, which is pretty funny. But anyways, there's nothing else over here. It's just, you know, you kind of stuck here. So now what we're going to do is we're going to pop over to Umbral. We're going to use our Soul Flay to move this over. This is primarily where the puzzles come into play. Always look around, look behind, because as soon as you're in Umbral, you're constantly going to be attacked by these fools. I haven't dropped down there before. I'm pretty sure if you do, you'll die, so I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't test it. Anyways, let's go talk with our friend.
I always wondered if there were others. You're probably thinking that lamp's just a tool to be used as you see fit. Take it lightly, and you'll find it's the other way around. Mark my words.
So this is the Iron Wayfarer. If you take a look at his left hand, you can see that it is a skeleton. So he's the guy that saved us.
I don't know who you are, and I don't care. But since it seems a deer has you marked, making you a bigger threat to the rogue ourselves as both, I've defied the rules of gods and kings. If you know any kind of freedom, you'll do the same. I've defied. If you know.
So we've exhausted his dialogue. It's always important to do that for any NPC you come across. If you come here, you can actually rest at this new vestige. And if you rest, you actually go and tap in the menu and rest, you'll actually pop right back out of Umbral. And now you're in Axiom again. So there's our little, sourpuss friend. He's actually pretty cool. You can use these NPCs almost immediately after befriending them to use them as, I guess you can beckon them to aid you in your fights against bosses. The problem is, though, you have to die first before you can beckon them. So it's pretty funny. It's like, hey, first attempt, you died? Okay, now you can use a friend. So kind of silly. So there you go. Cool thing about this is I'll show you exactly how that works in just a moment. We're going to go ahead and pop into Umbral in that case. And if you lock onto this and you use Soulflay, you can see a scene. It's called a stigma. And it shows you exactly what happened. This is a great way to get an Umbral Scouring, which are those little shrimps, the little ghost shrimps that give you the ability to access boss weapons. So really cool. Here's those mobs. They're going to start spawning in like crazy. So just be careful. We got some minor holy salts. That's a way to imbue your weapon with special effects. So anytime you see this, always make sure you interact with it and do a Soulflay. That will guarantee that you get your Scouring. And also, it'll be a huge opportunity for you to get things like remembrances from bosses. That's taken straight out of Elden Ring. Your boss remembrances are essentially the totems or things that represent a boss that you can use. And you cash them in. And once you cash them in, you have to use a number of Umbral Scouring in order to actually unlock the boss weapon, so to speak. So you can see how these little enemies can be annoying, right? They're not very difficult per se, but they are always in the way, and they're constantly coming out. It's just really annoying. So anyways, we're going to pop out of Umbral for a second. If I'm going to be honest with you, I say be in Axiom as much as you can to do your initial exploring, but then jump into Umbral, and that's going to open up tons of new pathways for you that just are pretty much inaccessible or unseen otherwise. So we're going to come in here, kill these bros. Take care of your projectile dudes first, because they're absolute menaces to society. Alright, so we got this guy out of the way. Or that little group out of the way. In the event that you ever have like souls that are way far away, just hold up your lamp and hold R1, and you'll suck them in. We're going to come up upon a chest here soon. Just got to be careful because we've got a bunch of snipers. I'm telling you, like, this game is full of enemies that can snipe you from a mile away. If you're ever behind an enemy and you do a strong attack like that, you can pretty much guarantee that you're going to break their posture. So we got the broken sword. Probably use that in my challenge run, or the bucket, whatever does less damage. The corrupted penitent mask. So we got that item. You can see there's a mage or like a sorcerer up there just doing his thing. Got to be careful. We grabbed the item back there. So we do have a chest over here, but he can actually hit you from over here. And I'm surprised he hasn't aggroed yet. I am so shocked. He shot me on my first playthrough like 6 times. We got the hallowed condemnation. We're going to have to take out these enemies before we can do anything else. We'll read what that is in just a moment. Because to be honest, I don't even remember. There's a lot of lore items too, just so you know. Get out of here. Okay. So like see if you aim it, hold R1, you can pull in those souls. Got another wooden cross. Lovely. Okay, so let's check out what the hallowed condemnation is. It is a weapon. A hallowed sentinel sword inscribed with text condemning those who find themselves on the wrong side of its blade. So you need agility and strength. We don't have enough, but our weapon that we currently have is doing much more damage. The Paladin Isaac's sword's fantastic. It's a fantastic starter weapon. It's got some pretty good scaling. It's got C scaling and strength. And so it begins. We'll go ahead and kill the parasite. The projectile users are by far the most deadly, annoying, and frustrating enemies all in one. They have the trifecta. But I do feel it's a little unfair how accurate they are, how far they aggro. And you haven't seen anything yet, I assure you. You have seen nothing. Go ahead and throw an item at this. Completely waste one for fun. We got the Pilgrim Garb and Pilgrim Skirt. Pretty basic weapons. Certainly suck. I thought I heard a bro. They don't have a lot of poise. Many of the enemies don't. Even the bosses. So you can usually beat them to the punch, especially if you hit them enough times. Just like in real life. Alright, so from our little safe spot, we can take a look. We have the ammunition pouch. It just gives you ammunition every time you use one or you equip one, so it's pretty cool. You have to use it, you can't equip it. And once you use it, you do replenish your ammunition, or a portion of it at the very least. Let's take a look. We got a bunch of these wooden crosses. We'll have to sell some. And then we got the Penitent Mask. This is a really cool looking mask. This is creepy. A stifling metal mask of a penitent tainted by the Rogar corruption. Its interior is sticky with blood, tears, and sweat. Story of my life as a content creator. Story of my life. Anyways, didn't mean to get you down there. So it's a medium head. Our armor can't actually, to my knowledge, be upgraded, but the weapon certainly can. So, really interesting stuff. There's the Pilgrim Garb. And then the leggings or skirt right over here. Many of the items don't actually have item descriptions, but I will say this, and I haven't learned this yet, but I'll find out here shortly. When you go to the items, it says increase your radiance to gain further insight. So it's interesting because almost everything says increase your radiance. I've only seen other items that say increase your radiance and inferno, which are both different types of stats. So it's very likely that the higher that stat is, the more insight that you gain on that, and you can get like more lore for each of the items. So there's certainly going to have to be a purpose for me to upgrade my, upgrade that at some point in time, to max it out. I can only imagine that's going to be important. Got this big boy over here. Again, not a ton of poise. Go ahead and heal because I don't know what he's doing. Throwing down these little nails. Oh my gosh. Nails. If you block, you'll get wither damage, but you can replenish it. That was a good parry. That was not. Oh gosh. Oh gosh. Go away. Big combo. But we nullified all that with our infinite roll. Anyway, so that dude's dead. That was unpleasant. That was unpleasant. But yeah, kind of a tougher enemy there. No doubt. Climb up on here to get a visual on the situation. And just so you know, if you ever pop into Umbral, it's always a great chance you're going to see something you just wouldn't see before, right? So you can see this item here. Pretty cool stuff, if you ask me. I think that's just it's a really cool addition to like your it's not. I thought it was a gimmick at first, and I was like, "Yep, it's just a little gimmick." pretty annoying. It's going to be something that we just, don't really enjoy. But I think they did it pretty well, It does never feel too bad. The only thing that I will ever complain about is the fact that, yeah, there's instances where, I totally wish that I wasn't stuck in Umbral. Being pursued endlessly, it's tough, Of course, my item fell down here. That's great. We get the Preacher Shield, the Orion Preacher Shield. I certainly don't use shields. They're for cowards. The only time I use shields is if I parry, but you can parry with any weapon in this game, so I typically don't mind. I don't mess with it too much. Now we got these bros over here, and then we can circle back up that pathway. Oh, I almost fell down the wrong way. Okay. Oh, thank you, good sir. May I have another? Telling you, these guys are snipers. We have Enervated Vigor Skull. It's just a currency item. You can consume it to gain vigor, which is always good. We got the Raw Mangler Axe. We'll use our last heal, because why not? Why wouldn't we? And then we can go ahead and take a look at the weapon we got. We're going to do it every chance we get in Axiom, because we're just not going to have those same opportunities in Umbral. So this is an Infernal-based weapon. We could definitely further understand the weapon if we had the proper requirements for it, but looks like it's definitely going to require some Inferno, and that's pretty neat, because Inferno is one of these status items. If I recall correctly, there's a fire status effect that does damage over time, and then there's a status effect that's called Ignite that kind of just does a burst damage, and it's pretty cool. Anyway, so that's this area here. Now we can safely just traverse. This would have been an area we could have popped out of Umbral. You see that big beacon over there? There's 5 of them. If you ever see these walls, there's a 100% chance of there being enemies. Just trust me. Take my word for it. If there's ever obstructed vision, right? There is certainly a projectile user or an ambusher every single time. Alright, so just be careful here. But you lock onto this dude, and then you're going to walk slowly. Do a charged R2. That'll remove his posture, and then you can just finish him off. So pretty cool. We got some unripe berries. Hell yes. Those increase stamina regen. I'm just kidding. I wasn't actually excited about it. I was just trying to act. Alright, so if you recall, remember we had our little map. It said, hey, don't go through that door. The funny thing is, like, you can't. Like, I don't even know how you go through that door. I'm going to go ahead and rest as well. And then I'm going to level up. We're going to go for some strength. Our vitality is good for now. We're gonna pump it up, though, because you can get killed by pretty much any basic enemy in 1 to 2 hits. So, it's excellent. You're going to love it. But yeah, our little map told us don't go through that door. And just so you know, you can't. Like, I did try to go through it. I wasn't sure exactly how to even... Yeah, it just doesn't budge, so I don't know. We got a whole bro over here. Okay, that's cool. We're going to have to do something with that. So I say we can pop into Umbral. Some of this stuff, just so you know, like the Mangler's Axe and all that, I didn't get it on my first little, I say my first playthrough, my first 5 seconds of playing the game. That's just not something I did. I was getting used to the mechanics and stuff still, you know? Lots of dying. What does this lead to? This looks unsavory. Yeah, I feel like I'm going to die here, actually, yeah. Oh, yeah. Totally. Oh! Make sure we get these guys before our wither damage comes in. Oh, that's great. I'm trying to lock on to this clown right here. But then, yeah, that's fun. See, stuff like that. I already have hordes of enemies. It's literally been in Umbral for 2 seconds. So we'll do our soul flay so we can see what the flock is going on here. Umbral Eye of the Betrayed Eliad. I didn't get this either, just so you know. This is totally new to me. So see? Told you guys we'd see new stuff. We got another thing we can soul flay over here. Oh wow. That's me every morning I wake up. Allergies. Damn. We got some umbral scouring, very good. But yeah, I'm enjoying this. This is all new to me. All new. I know we can go up that ladder. Sprinting is going to be something we are going to do a lot in this playthrough. Sometimes we're going to have to pass enemies to get through areas. I'm something of a completionist. I like to kill everything all the time, defeat everybody. Oh, with the balls. Who just hit me? Who did that? But anyways, that's something we're not going to be able to do 100% of the time in this game. And it pains me because unfortunately there's just hordes of enemies at all times, so you can't always defeat them all. Otherwise you'll just be doing this all day. So there's the big guy. And now we're going to circle back around to our save point. And now we can go this way. And I will not be surprised if we get hit from an enemy from behind, because they will pursue you till the end of days, I tell ya. This is a different enemy type. He's not very bad. He's just ugly. He's just a little uglier than most. But he's not so bad. I'm telling you, but it's just unending spawn. I wish they'd nerfed the spawn rate of the mobs and the aggro range, because these guys will chase you until like the end of time. I kid you not. We're gonna suck in some of these souls here. We're just getting all the goodies. You can see the number just raising up. I know we're gonna go down. We've been in Umbra for a while, so we got to be careful. If it goes to max, I wouldn't mind showing you and dying just for the sake of you seeing the example, but I also don't like to die. More and more difficult enemies will appear as we stay in Umbral, and oh gosh, they start getting more projectile-y, and that is no fun. So we got ammunition, satchel, and large mana stone cluster. We're gonna run through some of this here. Oh balls. Alright. Easy. Everybody keeps spawning. Again, see how it makes it a little hard to do certain things? I got like 4 guys on my tail here. Okay, not 4. Like 12 guys. Get off my nards, bros. We're gonna do... He just died. I don't even know what happened. He was like, nope, I'm gonna die anyways. Don't want to mess with this kid. Good choice. Okay, seriously? This is what I'm talking about. I gotta nerf the spawn rate for these fools. We're gonna throw something at this item here, drop down this item, and then we'll get a pilgrim hood and pilgrim bandages, so we pretty much have all the rest of the pilgrim garb. You hear like a humming sound because it's totally saying like, hey, it's getting crazy. And it's because it is. There's a different type of enemy we haven't seen before. We're going to climb up the ladder. You can, you know, semi-sprint up the ladder by holding circle. One second. Let me switch over to the undead, or axiom. And now we can get rid of one of our fears, which is the endless zombie hordes. But we do want to knock that down. That's just a little shortcut I'll show you where it leads to. And yeah, so that was stressful, right? I'm stressed. Alright, so here we go. You come over here. You'll remember this dead dude that I said was ugly. Well, now you have a shortcut. So from the save point, you can come straight across if you have any trouble in this area for whatever reason. See? Every time, I tell you. Every time. Alright, we're going to heal. And when we come back around this way, we're going to go inside of this building at some point. It's pretty cool. So, just so you know, like, everything at some point will circle around. It gets really confusing. This is, like, kind of the ultimate area we want to go to. But everything else, I mean, you definitely want to explore. It's hard to determine, you know, like, what those areas are going to be, though. Again, as a matter of fact, even right now, I just got a little mixed up. This is where we got the item, the pilgrim's clothing, right? And that was where we came from. And there's the ladder. So we could probably look and see the ladder, see? So that's how easy it is to get mixed up, because you're looking at the same world through two different lenses, and it can get really trippy. So navigation becomes a really huge, I would say, undertaking. All right, we drop down here. If you want to get back up and out, you just climb up the ladder. But guess who we see here? We see our friend, the Iron Wayfarer, and he teaches us about the vestige seeds, which I told us earlier. This is the bed, you know, of flowers I told you. You can actually place a seed in. If you press triangle, you have to have a seed, of course, and when you place it, you'll be able to respawn there instead of an actual light. So
you carry the lamp long enough, and you'll see history repeat over and over. If you don't want to keep retreading the same ground yourself should you fall, make use of this.
And that was very well put. I mean, pretty much, if not, you'll have to go through again and sprint through a larger, longer area.
I've given you more umbral guidance than I ever had. From now on, find your own way and stay out of mine. I've given you...
Alright, so he's just a little grumpy butt, and that's fine. I get it. I would be mad too. So here, if you hold L2 to, you know, hold out the lamp and then press triangle, we're now going to bring up a kind of temporary vestige. So if we interact with it, that's our new save point. So we'll go ahead and upgrade our character. Why not? We'll go for strength, of course. And keep in mind that we've been interacting with the Iron Wayfarer. He's going to be the one that's going to, you know, be able to be beckoned if we die. So pretty cool. I like this guy. He's grumpy, but I like him. All right, so from here, this area is kind of funny because I was like, what the heck's going on? And it was actually way smaller than I thought. It's tiny, so this is going to lead to the boss. Oh, and just really quickly, look at this beautiful sight here. That is the hand of Adir, the god that is apparently being like resurrected or whatever. And we have like a solar eclipse, which we had today actually. It was pretty cool, a real one, and it was nice. Very nice to see. Anyway, circle back up here. There's going to be like a battle going on. You can just definitely get some pot shots in here, like some really cheap shots. Oh my gosh. Ow, ow, what? Hey, easy. Hold R2. Oh, he almost got the better of us there. What is he doing? He was busting caps like a mofo. Okay, well, he's dead. He killed this bro. Alright, so from here we can just suck up all these little souls. Look at us go. And then there's an item up here at the very edge of this door. Can go ahead and grab. It's our ammunition pouch. And there's a bunch of items you can get here, but you're going to definitely get them at the cost of some pain, so it's fine. I guess technically you could use, let me see, I didn't try using Umbral, but I guess you could. Let's see if it works. It does not work. Let's pick up the item and run. Once you're on fire, just dodge as much as possible, that'll go away. Now your burn has gone away, but we still have Ignite, so mind that. There's an item up here. Grab it really quickly, dodge away. Just fire salts. These are going to be really good. You can buy infinite amounts of these at certain vendors, and I use them quite often. Probably a little too often, if I'd say. Like, sometimes you don't even need them. And there's one more item here. It's a lot of fire salts. I imagine it's because the enemy's weak to it. But long story short, we're probably going to die this first attempt, and that's fine. It's not a tough boss, but she's pretty cool. I do like the intro cutscene and all that. So we're going to watch it, and she's actually going to be an important character for us later in the game.
Oh, holy Aureus, by your radiance grant me the strength to continue to endure these dark days, to lay bare the path to salvation for my wayward brothers and sisters, so we may walk it together, and to strike down all those who would see our will defied.
He's like,
As
huh?
our suffering continued, I honored my pledge of patience to the exactor. And yet you now appear before me, a stranger, bearing what was not yours to receive. A betrayal made flesh, and one I cannot brook.
So she's like 100%, you know, penitent one here. So we're going to get up close and personal in just a moment. You can parry, so. Love parrying the bosses. It's so fun. Not a bad start. Oh, she's doing the thing. She's got wings. Yep, that's actually happening. Just come off to the side here. She'll do that attack down the middle. Pretty easy to dodge. I find this phase much harder to attack her. Anytime they use Radiance, just watch out, because they're going to do attacks that the physical form would normally do. Pretty cheap. Okay, here, they're going off to the side, so we stay in the middle. Sprint. Get the iframes. That's a grab attack. Pretty tough to dodge that one. I kind of rolled right into it. But we do have a second chance, right? We have our Umbral form. We usually start off with a nice little explosion. Alright, where are they going? So they're going here and here, so we're going to stay off to the side. Nice. So she was cheap. She used her projectiles and she got the better of us there. No problem. And that's an official death, right? So we died in Axiom and in Umbral. I think it was a really good attempt, though. We got a lot of parries in and all that stuff, so it's fun. Second phase is always a doozy. So anyway, so we can go ahead and head back. And this time we don't have to worry about going through and fighting everybody. We just grabbed everything already, so we can go straight to the boss. So we can just sprint down here. And then the key is just to note that you can beckon the Iron Wafer, and he'll assist you. But again, you had to have died first, so he's just like, his form is like in moth, so if you ever wanted to use it, you certainly could. Pretty neat. Anyway, so let's traverse this wall of moths and see if we can actually get a victory. And the cool thing about the bosses is you always will see the cutscene, so you can skip it if you want. That one's tough to parry. There you go. That'll do the trick. Yeah, I missed that one more often than not. That'll follow you, so it's best to sprint. I dodged, but you can do it however you like. Go ahead and heal. She's got the wings now. I'll go ahead and pick up my vigor. It's a very slow animation, so if you can avoid it, then please do. Otherwise, it's gonna really, it'll just really screw you up in a fight. There you go. I missed both of those parries. That's unfortunate. I'm gonna go ahead and roll out of this and heal. Yeah, I missed both of those. That's no fun. They lock on way too good. Y'all know too much. Here it goes. There you go, we'll get another critical. Remember, we still have our chance in Umbral too, so. I tried. Yeah, she got me and then I was stunned. So now we're in Umbral. We start off with a nice little boom. Oh gosh, that's scary. Oh, wrong way, buddy. There you go. Yay! We died. That's the cheapest attack because she's actually attacking with 3 enemies. So you have to dodge all 3. It's a timing thing, really. And then you can just keep sprinting. We'll give it one more shot. Moment of truth right here, and you can always use or opt to use like the salts and things like that. They actually do quite a bit of damage. Matter of fact, I use them a lot in general, so you can too. Alright, now we can heal. We'll stay out of her way. We'll go grab our vigor, why not? That's an annoying attack. Definitely not one I like. Ooh, I'm getting hit by all her attacks. That's the opposite of my strategy. Lovely. I couldn't roll for some reason. It wasn't for lack of trying.
A poor substitute.
Alright, let's do this. She's doing work, isn't she? I think I accidentally used a fire salts. That's annoying. She loves doing it at the right time. The absolute right time. Which I mean the wrong time, of course. So heals are going to be not nearly as effective in Umbral. There you go. Ouch. If you die in Umbra, you're dead, so make it count. Missed the grab attack, it's great. There you go. That is Pieta, the she of blessed renewal. Again, the cutscenes are really weird. I mean, they're just going to transition strangely. But we'll see what happens. And that is some of the ugliest blood I've seen on PlayStation 5. It's like a stop-motion clay-looking thing, actually, which, if you look at it from that lens, way cooler. But if that's supposed to be like realistic goop, I don't like it. Look at her toesies. And it just abruptly ends like that. It's so strange, but heresy purged nonetheless. There's people to judge, there's heresies to purge, all kinds of weird things. I just thought that was a very strange and brief, abrupt kind of scene. I don't know. It's weird how they do that, but as you can tell, there's something that we need to soul flay. We're already in Umbral, so it's always great.
Sisters, you honor us and all who came before you with your sacrifices. While I wish they were unnecessary, my wishes will not ease your suffering, but I pray my sorcery does.
So with that, we get the Remembrance of Pieta. The Remembrance is, of course, the boss Remembrance, and we get some Umbral scoring, too, which is the little ghost shrimp. So anyways, these little bastards over here, we don't want to mess with them. Look, already. Like, seriously. I don't get a moment's reprieve. Just killed a boss, thank you. Let's go ahead and exit Umbral, return to Axiom, and we're going to go up the tower first. Gonna open this chest, get a radiance, I guess for lack of a better term, spell. Some bros over there, that's always cool. I see you. Now we're gonna go downstairs, and then we're gonna enter the Skyrest Bridge area, which is essentially the hub. I'm gonna show you guys the layout of the hub, and then we'll end the stream and prepare for tomorrow. That's our vestige. And there's Kungla, Exactor Dunmire.
Welcome, Dark Crusader.
Hi. Alright, so pretty much this is the bridge. I don't know why they call it that. Makes absolutely no sense, but hey, I'm not an architect. Not a lot in this area, to be honest. There are going to be like some doors and stuff you can open, but not from this side, and it's actually quite difficult to open them. And I feel like, I don't know if I opened it too early in my playthrough or what, but it certainly felt out of place. None of these locked jail cells are going to have anything. Let's go talk to Exactor Dunmire.
I had no doubt in my assessment of you as one worthy of the monumental task which lies before us, Crusader. My name is Dunmire, and I am an exactor of the Dark Crusaders, the holy order of which you are now an honored member. The Church of Orien Radiance has assigned to me the duty of purging Mornstead of its Rogar blight, and ensuring the ancient tyrant Adir knows no liberation from his enduring imprisonment. While the schism between the Church and Judge Cleric is of long standing, she and her hallowed sentinels, now perverted, did at least construct Mornstead's radiant beacons, which have prevented Adir's return for centuries. But now, we stand corrupted and on the verge of collapse. It is to these 5 beacons you must turn your eye. Use the Umbra Lamp to cleanse them of Adir's destructive influence, and deliver salvation to a world on the brink of perdition. Rogar and Hallowed Sentinel alike will offer you no quarter, so remember, though Aureus' mercy is without limit, yours should not be.
Alright, so we've spoken with Exactor Dunmire, and we got a new gesture. He can sell a bunch of items. We've got daggers, axes, preach hammers, and some of these, again, they'll have like radiance requirements as well as strength, or just vice versa. You got a preacher catalyst, which is important because we need to be able to cast radiant spells at some point. So I do believe that this would be a purchase we'd want to check out sooner than later, I would say. A catalyst for spells is going to be incredibly important. We have Radiant Flare, Healing Radiance, which is cool because not only do you have your normal heals, you can also heal yourself with this, so it's not bad, not bad. It does cost a ton of mana though, that's the problem. We have this, which is Radiant Weapon, imbues your weapon with Radiance. You need 18 for that though, so I mean, it's going to be a lot of speccing into Radiance if you want to be like a true Dark Crusader. You have infinite amount of minor Holy Salts. These just add holy damage to your weapon. You get Mirrors of Protection. Crimson Ritual means the PvP, so someone's trying to get you. So I'm assuming that helps you not get invaded. And then we have the Orien Preacher wrappings, the Kung Lao hat, all that good stuff. So, not bad.
To strive in darkness, in light we walk.
Okay. Now we're going to talk to our girl here. This is the girl we just defeated 2 seconds ago, Pieta.
By Aureus' divine will, I live again. It's a miracle. And to think I raised my sword to you, when all along you were a divine instrument sent by him to deliver my death and rebirth and bring clarity. Forgive me, Lampbearer. I'm Pieta of the Hallowed Sentinels. And as Aureus sustains me, so too will I sustain you. Whether by making manifest your potential or through my healing blood, contained within the sanguinarics you carry. Should you find any saintly quintessences, bring them to me, and they can bolster the power of my blood further still. The beacons must be cleansed, the hallowed sentinels restored, and Adir's malignancy eradicated. Through whatever is to come, fellow chosen of Aureus, we stand together in service of him.
Funny thing is, I called him Adir as well in the first game, but it's Adir. So everyone else says Adir. So even in the intro, it's weird. I don't know. So
Our holy word
whatever.
continues, Lamp-bearer.
We're going to go ahead and upgrade our Sanguinarix.
Fellow sanctified vessel, may Aureus' divine radiance flow through me and into you.
The Chrysalis Rebirth you see as the second option that's grayed out. That's how you respec. And you can purchase those from an NPC. You can find an Umbral, or you find them along the way, I'd say. Here's another merchant we can speak with right here.
So the Exactors found himself a new instrument, as Exactors are wont to do. And given that lamp was intended for me should his paladin fall, and yet now here you are, Lamp-bearer. Well, it seems I was right to doubt the value of a Dark Crusader's word.
That's not very nice.
I'm Stoneman, captain of the Fidelis, a group of good men and women who've made a stand against the madness which has possessed the rest of the hallowed Sentinels. We made a vow to restore our order to its former glory, whatever the cost to ourselves. And by Judge Cleric's grace, we'll honor that vow. That heretical umbral lamp and the Dark Crusaders are necessary evils in these dire times, as are you, it would seem. Perhaps our aims will align further, or perhaps not.
And he also has a ton of items that he can sell for us, and we can purchase. The Hallowed Knight's Sword. I mean, all of these typically have a little bit less damage than the one we already have equipped, but you can get a lot of starter weapons here. The Hallowed Knight's weapon, the Black Feather, Ranger, the Mornstead Infantry. You can get just about everybody's weapon, but I wouldn't suggest purchasing them necessarily unless you just can't find them out in the wild, which we will be able to do. There's a few things that we need to look at for purchasing purposes, and the Pilgrim's Perch Key will be something we get pretty much, I'd say, once we clear most of the Pilgrim's Perch. There's just a few chests and things we can grab along the way that give us armor sets that are just nice to look at. Not ones that I think would replace the quality of the Dark Crusaders starting set, though. Ring of Duty isn't bad either. It gives vitality and endurance increases, so it's not a bad thing at all. But the Pilgrim's Perch Key is going to be pretty key. These are infinite, so they're not bad. Can buy as many of these as you like. Same for the ammunition pouches, etc. And then again, you can have the opportunity to purchase some of the starter armor as well, including the Partisan, the Mornstead Infantry, etc. Hallowed Knight. So you got a bunch of options there to get the starter equipment if you missed it. So now we can go ahead and save. I'm going to show you two more things though, and actually three in this area. We're going to upgrade our bro. This will be one of the big upgrade sessions here that ends abruptly, sadly. But we want to just boost that strength up. We're going to deal lots of damage. Alright, so once you unlock the blacksmith, for lack of a better term, you'll actually, she'll set up station here. So her little shop will be here, replacing these ugly things. And then right across the way, it's really cool. I'll show you our last NPC that actually matters. There's a bunch of fluff NPCs. I'll show you where they're at too, but check this out. So it looks like there's not really anything here, but our lamp is going crazy, as you can tell. So if you pop into Umbral, you can see this ugly bastard, and he is the NPC that created the lamp.
The lamp must be born until the favored child makes themselves known. Only then can the remaining carrion of creation finally return to the void.
And he's pretty interesting. He's the last of his race, and he also is the creator of the Umbral lamp. He can do a lot of things for us, actually. He can upgrade the lamp, which we don't have the means to do it yet, but you need chisels to do that. And then the Umbral eyes, we actually have one of these now. This is the one I didn't get in my first playthrough, but you can get an additional Soul Flay charge plus 15% Dread resistance. That's huge. Dread is the rate at which your ring around your umbral eye appears when you're in the umbral world. So really cool. And then 25% healing efficiency. This is one of the best you can possibly get, and I'm glad we obtained it. You can actually have secondary sockets and things like that once you upgrade it. So really cool stuff there. Aside from that, you can always sell things and purchase. So I would strongly suggest that you look at these things. So you have a catalyst for umbral techniques. You have some actual umbral spells. You have the scourings that you can purchase. Only a finite amount though, but you can get an unlimited amount of withered salts. This will pretty much allow you to get like you can kind of like store your vigor in these, so it's kind of weird. It just costs double the amount, so I don't know if it makes much sense. Here you have vestige seeds. These are incredibly important. You're certainly going to want to have some of these on hand at any given time so you can freely create save points. Then you have the vestige moth. You can use it to travel to the most recently used vestige, and that's the one that again is important to have on person as well, so if you ever get stuck. And then you have the Eye of Vengeance, used to unveil further opportunities for vengeance, so you can potentially fight. It seems like a PvP item. Anyway, so pretty cool stuff. Yep. Alright, so and then we got this up here. You can interact with this. You use plucked eyeballs to purchase the items at the shop, and you get, of course, a gesture just by touching that. This is one of the 3 altars. You can purchase tinks here. You can purchase an unlimited amount of the umbral scouring, but just so that you know, it is kind of locked behind PvP, or I would say online play, because the plucked eyeballs can only be obtained if you avenge somebody. So sometimes in the map, you're going to witness a red lantern just floating around. If you use the soul flay on it, you'll be able to track down the enemy that killed a real player, and if you kill that enemy, you'll get some eyeballs as a reward. So anyways, last little thing I wanted to show you is once you kind of save and reset the area, Kung Lao or Exactor Dunmire will move down here, and he'll ask you to do kind of like a secret mission for him where you're giving him items that are heretical in nature. And then if you're in Umbral, you can pass through that little passageway, and then it just kind of takes you back here. You need the Skyrest Bridge key to open this door. We'll actually be circling around here later on. That is the area that I feel is very difficult considering the level we're going to be at when we explore it. So it is what it is. Just kind of have to deal with it, right? But I'm excited to actually continue the stream with you guys. I'm going to show you the one last area as a bonus just because I'm such a nice guy. And it's just right down here. You have 2 NPCs we'll chat with.
Look at you, a Dark Crusader, a lamp bearer, and a revenant to boot. Aren't you the multifaceted one? Well, we Fidelis aren't as fortunate. We tend to stay dead when we die. And Aureus knows enough of us have done just that. Anyway, like Nathaniel says, you keep looking back, you don't see the blade coming at your front. We set ourselves a task and we have to finish it.
And I love his armor. It looks fantastic.
Let's watch a step out there. Mornstead is a land awash in blood, both deserved and undeserved alike.
Alright, now that's Eustace. We'll talk to this other little bro down here.
That lamp you've got there is heresy, stranger. But then, seems it's getting harder to tell what is and what ain't nowadays. Strange times. But in the end, there's right and there's wrong. And that never changes. And I hope for both our sakes you know the difference. If in doubt, you heed the captain. He's never steered me wrong, much as he might think otherwise.
Now, the strange thing is sometimes the lighting is so similar to the items, so I wanted to show you this. To the left is an item, and then to the right is a candlelight. So it's really tough sometimes when you're running through dimly lit areas to figure out what's what. But you get the Aura of Tenacity. We'll take a look at that really quickly. That's a spell. You surround yourself with a radiant aura which decreases damage received. So not bad. You just need a radiance catalyst for it. And this is the second altar you can use, or shrine. It's the Shrine of Aureus. You use pilfered coins to make purchases. You can buy tinks. You can buy these little things from Mirrors of Protection. And the more you unlock, after you get the gesture by the way, you can go all the way to the right and unlock the 3rd tier, which allows you to get different kinds of armor. So this is kind of like a joint effort So you have to donate quite a bit of coins to be able to unlock these. As you can tell in the bottom right, it shows how many you actually need to donate in order to unlock the different tiers. So it's a lot. And I am assuming they're going to keep the servers up for a long time because, gosh, that's a lot of coins. Anyways, so that's the coins you get, of course, from PvP again whenever you defeat bosses and stuff. So and co-op. So whenever you're a jolly good cooperation, Sunlight Bro style. And that is that, guys. I hope you enjoyed the stream. We're going to rest here, get back to Axiom, and prepare for the Pilgrim's Purge, and of course the area right before that, which is one of our first mini bosses. I'd call it a boss. It's just pretty fun. But anyways, if you guys enjoyed this stream, please be sure to like and subscribe. It helps me know that you want more content just like this. I just want to let you know that I had an absolute blast, and I will continue this series. I'll be as thorough as possible, just like you saw here, but I did actually get through this first part already, so I wanted to show you, in detail and give you a great beginner's guide to give you the best start possible in a game that is incredibly difficult, but one that definitely, offers a lot of, in terms of different versatility and play styles, and I think that it's certainly ambitious in a good way. It's just something that you need to give it time, and you will certainly be able to appreciate all of the mechanics coming into play together to make a pretty great game. So anyways, you guys are awesome. I just want to say that I will be continuing this series and my 100% Liza P walkthrough as well. If you're interested, please be sure to stay tuned to my main channel where I'll be featuring more Liza P lore and also a story explained video once I get to the end of Lords of the Fallen, which is probably going to be the end of the week, most likely. Because I'm playing it with you guys, so it takes a lot longer that way. So keep in mind that that will be, coming up in the near future, but just stay tuned for it. It's not about being the first, it's about being the best, guys, and that's what I do. Anyways, hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend, and until next time, it's the Inhuman One signing out. I'll catch you guys then.